Imagine a boy just 16 years old stepping onto the pitch, a bat in hand, and the weight of a billion dreams on his shoulders. Fast forward a few years, and he's not just a player, he's a phenomenon. A man who redefined cricket, shattered records, and became the heartbeat of a nation. Sachin Tendulkar. The name itself sends chills down the spine. The Master Blaster, the god of cricket, a man who didn't just play the game. He lived it, breathed it, and elevated it to an art form. Welcome back to Infinite Thryve, the podcast where we explore the stories of people who've redefined what it means to be great. Today, we're talking about a man who needs no introduction, Sachin Tendulkar.
Oh, the god of cricket himself. I mean, where do we even begin with Sachin? His records, his legacy, his impact on the game?
All of the above. But more than that, today we're going to talk about the man behind the legend, his journey, his struggles, and why he continues to inspire millions around the world.
I'm all ears. Let's dive in.
So let's start at the beginning. Sachin was born in Mumbai in 1973. His father was a professor, and his mother worked in insurance. Cricket wasn't exactly a career back then. It was more of a passion. But Sachin, he was obsessed.
Obsessed is an understatement. I've heard stories about him playing for hours on end, even as a kid.
Exactly. There's this famous story about how he'd practice with a tennis ball on the streets of Mumbai. His brother Ajit noticed his talent early on and took him to Ramakant Akrakar, one of the best cricket coaches in the city.
Akrakar, sir, right? The man who shaped Sachin's career?
Yes. And here's the thing. Akrakar was tough. He'd make Sachin play matches all day. And if he got out early, he'd have to sit out and watch. But Sachin, he never complained. He just kept playing, kept improving.
That's insane. I can't imagine that level of dedication as a kid.
Neither can I. But that's what sets Sachin apart. At 14, he scored a century in his debut for Bombay in the Ranji Trophy. At 16, he made his international debut for India. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay, but let's talk about the pressure. Sachin made his debut at 16. That's crazy young. And he was playing for a country that lives and breathes cricket. How did he handle it?
That's a great question. Sachin has often said that he didn't fully understand the weight of expectations back then. He just loved playing cricket. But as he grew older, the pressure became immense. Every time he walked out to bat, a billion people were watching.
I can't even imagine that kind of pressure. How did he cope?
By staying grounded. Sachin always credited his family, especially his brother Ajit and his wife Anjali, for keeping him focused. He also had this incredible ability to compartmentalize. On the field, he was the Master Blaster. Off the field, he was just Sachin, a humble, soft-spoken guy who loved his family and his music.
Let's talk about his career highlights. I mean, where do we even start? The 100 centuries? The 200 in ODIs? The World Cup win in 2011?
It's impossible to pick just one. But if I had to, I'd say the 1998 Sharjah Cup innings against Australia. He scored back-to-back centuries, including that famous Desert Storm knock. It wasn't just about the runs, it was the way he dominated one of the best bowling attacks in the world.
Oh, I remember watching that as a kid. It was magical.
Exactly. And that's what made Sachin special. He didn't just play cricket, he made it an art form. His straight drives, his cover drives, his flick shots, they were poetry in motion.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing, right? Sachin had his share of struggles too.
Absolutely. In the early 2000s, he struggled with injuries and a dip in form. There were even calls for him to retire, but Sachin, he worked harder than ever. He reinvented his game, focused on fitness, and came back stronger.
That's the mark of a true champion, isn't it? The ability to bounce back.
Exactly. And let's not forget the 2011 World Cup. Sachin had waited 22 years for that moment. When India won, the entire team carried him on their shoulders. It was a fitting tribute to the man who had given so much to Indian cricket.
All right, let's talk about his legacy. What makes Sachin Tendulkar more than just a cricketer?
Oh, where do I start? Sachin wasn't just a player, he was an emotion. He united a country of 1 billion people. When he batted, time stood still. He gave us hope, joy, and something to believe in.
And it's not just about the records, right? It's about the way he played the game, with integrity, humility, and passion.
Exactly. Sachin showed us that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about hard work, perseverance, and love for what you do.
So, what's the takeaway here? Why should we care about Sachin Tendulkar's story?
Because it's a story of dreams. It's about a boy from Mumbai who dared to dream big and worked tirelessly to make those dreams come true. It's about never giving up, no matter how tough the journey gets.
And it's about staying humble, even when you're on top of the world.
Alex, exactly. Sachin Tendulkar isn't just a cricketer, he's an inspiration. A reminder that with passion, dedication, and a little bit of magic, anything is possible. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Inspirational Edge. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review.
Sam. And if you have a favorite Sachin moment, drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, stay inspired.